Hello, I'm going live at a different time than I normally do. I've got my daughter chilling out in the room, quiet for me. I wanted to record this. I just uploaded a video. You may have not seen it yet. I just uploaded a quick little video on a retightening, a 6-week retightening where the locks have unraveled. A large part, well, a significant part of the locks had unraveled. And so I wanted to break down what that looked like, why that happened, and how we can prevent that. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and just show you that video really quickly. Where did I put the video? Oh yeah, I never could do this quickly. I'm just going to walk through. Okay, so this is a client. She just got her hair, and if you're looking at Instagram, you can't see this. She just got her hair 6-week follow-up, and her texture was so soft. So I started, that's like 4. Many unraveled in the shortest section of her hair because her hair is really soft, looser curled, beautiful hair. But as you can see, this is before we retightened it. I only did that little back section. Actually had to create new locks. Working through that tapered cut section, had to make sure I kept the sizing and the parting grid consistent. Sometimes redrawing the whole entire grid again. Doing it as closely as possible. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm really hoping you can. But if not, I'll just do the live over. I think you can see it. So I'm working my way up her hair. She had a tapered cut. And the rest of her locks were holding up okay in the top section. But when we got to the sides and the back, where it was shorter and a looser texture, it just, some of them completely came undone. Now, I'm not faulting her. I really believe that she did everything that she could. The rest of her locks were swelling and expanding very nicely. She does have very loose texture in some parts of her hair where you'll see some of the locks actually look like they're straight. And her overall hair is doing really well. I just wanted to address this unraveling that it happens a lot. She had a little bit more than what average person might have. Some people don't have any unraveling. And so, I don't know if you guys saw that. I'll find out right now. Whoops, I didn't mean to stop sharing, but I'm trying to close the screen out. Oh, you guys probably did. Did I call you out? You called yourself out. It says Facebook user. You haven't given StreamYard permission so I know who you are. And I have my phone and everything going, so I can't read comments. But I'm calling somebody out. You know who you are. Beautiful hair. You did a great job. Listen, this is just about education and learning and helping us all get through this process. I've seen it a lot, and I see consistencies with your texture hair, especially. So, so with that, I don't know if anybody could see. It's you, Tony. Oh, it wasn't you I was calling out this time. It was someone recent. You got your hair started a long time ago, but yes, you have similar texture. But did you see the video? Did you guys see it? Because I can't tell. If you didn't see it, it's going to show up on the page. So what happened is when she came to her installation, she had a tapered cut. Short hair, it was really cute. She had a short hair and it was like long the rest of it, and like a front portion was super long, so that it kind of had like a little bob effect. And what this part here was also straighter. These parts here were really looser curl. So when we did the installation, I actually posted her installation. If you go back on the timeline, you can see the person with like the bob cut. But she came in for 6 weeks. And before that, she kept in contact with me as instructed. She just let me know if there was any major things happening. And she's like, girl, about 25 of these locks tried to hold on for dear life, but they gave up. And which was good that she talked to me. I understood that it wasn't anything in her routine that I knew was a likelihood that it would happen. So I said, okay. So we knew we had agreed on certain things before the appointment. So she came for an appointment, and as you see, that is what her hair looked like. I had done just a few, but by the time I started videoing, um, most of them had no, you couldn't just like find the grid. Some of them had a little, they held on to a small part of the installation. So it would be loose hair, and at the end it would be together where I started the lock. And so that happens a lot. Even though she didn't, she washed her hair a couple of times, she didn't really do much to it, and it happened. So, um, why that can happen? It's normal for some hair that's a looser curl pattern, a little silkier texture to take a little longer to mat together, which is why I advise those people with that type of hair texture to avoid, obviously, really have to limit product usage. Really just washing your hair if you need to, wash it for cleanliness, but they don't get as much clearance and wiggle room as someone with a 4C or a tighter curl pattern. So I knew that she'd have to be careful. She also, you tend to find the secretion of oil. We all secrete oil, sebum, but the process by which it goes through all of our strands is different. Depending on a whole bunch of different things, follicle shape and all that. So her hair could feel a little bit oilier. So we want to talk about some tips, and these are not, I don't want to give advice that anyone think they can do for all hair textures and run with it. It is a very specific thing when you start to assess, but it could be helpful for someone who has similar hair, some of these tips. So let me make sure I stay loose. Also could be due to, I'm looking at my wrong page. It could also be due to obviously styling, manipulation, if she's doing a whole lot, environment, humidity. So humidity is not the devil. It can work with us, but humidity also loosens up curls. It's water in the air. It depends on what's happening. She installed her hair at the tail end of the summer, going into the fall, air starting to get drier. But it also could be where people live. Just different factors in the environment can contribute to what's happening with how our hair is curling in. Water activates our curls, but also we have different levels of oil secretion, different hair types. So she had that silky hair. I don't think it was environmental. I think it was her hair leading longer to lock and lifestyle. If someone works out a lot, sweats a lot, maybe we sweat. You don't even necessarily have to work out a lot to sweat a lot in your scalp. I sweat a lot in my scalp. My mom does. She can't keep a press, like her hair reverts. So just a lot of things happen with that, or a combination of all these things. Also, the nape of her hair and the size of her hair came loose, but especially in the nape. Think about collars. Think about things that rub. Think about there's a lot of things that we tend to gather a lot of latent buildup and friction back here anyway. You notice with most of the buildup for people's hair is, check these back locks. You're going to find that's where a lot of buildup. It's just a lot of friction. Curl pattern also can be straighter right in this bottom row. It's interesting. And then it gets tighter again here in the middle. And there's sections of the hair that can be straighter. So there's different textures throughout the hair. So sometimes the hair is locking at different rates. So if someone has hair texture like her, a little looser curl, seems a little bit naturally oily. And I'm not saying oily in the sense that some people think. When I say humidity is not, it can be your friend sometimes, is misting. Like when you're in the shower and that mist gets on your hair, it can be okay to kind of activate your curl, help your hair lock. But I say everything I'm not saying a generalization, like just go stand in the shower and have the mist, but it can help accelerate that. Things with so there's a product I used to make called Lock Acceleration Spray, and it consisted of sea salt, because salt helps get that oil out. When you think about beach hair, like how your hair feels, it helps the hair to mat together because the hair is not coated as much with oil. It's helping reduce the oil, but it's just case by case basis. Is not for everyone, because if his hair is dry like mine, it's just going to make my hair drier, and I'll have problems with it. But I wanted to make sure I put in that out. I see some things here. Okay. So also her locks, when they started, I had to make sure that second go around that I started it with more of a significant start. For instance, I had to create that mat to be a little tighter, a little harder for the hair to just unravel at the bottom. If you understand what I'm saying? Because I may not have to do that on someone who has a 4C or a higher coil like myself, because my hair will naturally, it's just all curly. But if someone has straighter hair, I got to make sure that when I'm starting it, that it's harder to come loose. And I had to do that more significantly. Sometimes you're going to have to do this several cycles of retightening before it stays. You got to fine tune it. I do not tie knots in hair. No one should be tying knots in the hair. Your hair can lock. If you just got to make sure you manipulate some of these factors. Is there a lot of oil in there? We got to maybe talk about the regimen a little bit more, so that they're definitely getting a lot of excess oil out of their hair. And they're paying attention to these factors that are kind of interrupting and preventing the hair from matting together. And also, yeah, I covered every point I wanted to cover with that. Obviously making sure instructions and protocols are followed. Sometimes people think their hair is tighter coil than it actually is, and it's not. And so they think they have more liberty to do things. I always tell people, if you're going to invest time and money into this service, make sure you follow instructions and not follow what you might see someone on YouTube or social media do, because it may not be right for you. So someone may be adding rose water and doing all these things to their hair. I would advise people to just stick with eliminating as much as you can, especially during the first 6 weeks, until you know how your hair is responding, how your hair is locking. You'll be surprised to find out how your hair, even if you've been natural for a while, entering into this type of lock, into the lock, I call it interwoven lock community, interlock community, it's still different. It's even different than traditional locks. Like, we're completely we're eliminating a lot of product. So sometimes your hair responds to that differently if you're used to adding a lot of things. So you're going to have to really clean slate it and make sure that you're doing the bare minimum. Also, the way our scalp and our hair responds, I say our scalp and our skin are like very intelligent. It responds to the environment. It responds to, if you were to cold turkey products, and you might notice, oh my goodness, my scalp is all dry now, it's itchy, it's flaky. All these things are happening with how the oil is secreted, and how I call it moisture retention factor. Like, our skin respects an organ. It's a living organ that's responding. So sometimes I don't have oily hair, so I don't know what that's like, but with clients that have oily hair, sometimes they're secreting more oil. There's a lot going on in response to this new phase that you are entering in with your hair. So I just wanted to make sure I said that. And also to have patience with this process. As long as you understand what's happening, you identify, you know what to look for. If someone's telling you large sections of their hair is coming out, you assess and figure out what it is. But if it's, and you also can see if it's a concern. Is there something else happening that's beyond just hair texture and environment? Or is it something like technique? So I definitely wanted to get on here and just say that. And it's clearly, okay. So I was like, all right. So bye, everyone. I got on here really, I felt like I sped through this info, but I do need to feed my daughter dinner. She's cooperated with me thus far. If you have any experiences with your hair coming loose, share them. Like, if you, I swear my hair is I always say, the tighter the coil, so what was termed bad hair, which I never like to say, in the loose world, is now good hair. It's more difficult to lock hair that was traditionally what we were force fed to be known as good hair. I don't like those terms, but I'm just being real and honest. Beautiful, looser curled hair in a loose world, sometimes can be a little more challenging to lock, and it's more ideal and easier and faster for the tighter curled hair like mine to lock quickly and consistently. So we just have to pay a little more attention to the looser hair. Hi. All right. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Hi, Instagram, and bye, Facebook.